We, the Skate fans, have waited over 15 years for a new installment. And after all that time, this is what EA gives us. An unfinished game focused on microtransactions instead of story and gameplay. Okay, let me slow down and explain everything. Realistic. Back in 2007, EA released Skate on PS3 and Xbox 360, and almost immediately it became something special. Over the next few years, we got Skate 2 and Skate 3, and by 2011, the franchise has cemented itself as a classic. These games were so good that people are still playing them today. Some are even going back to platinum them years later. And then, nothing. After Skate 3, EA completely abandoned the franchise. That silence lasted almost a decade, until 2020, when EA officially announced they were working on a new Skate game. NANI?! In the coming years, EA released some hints and news, like for example that the game will be free to play and most likely online only. This was not looking good and gamers were already worried. Fast forward today and early access is already out and we finally get our hands on it. And let me tell you, after a few hours of playing, this shouldn't even be called Skate. Why do I think that? Well, this game is nothing like Skate used to be. But let's jump in and let me show you everything. This is horrible, man. Oh my god. The first thing you do is create your character, and right away something feels off. The art style is cartoony and generic, and it lacks any personality or identity. It feels like something designed quickly to support cosmetics rather than a world built with care.
What the hell is even that?
Oh my god, man, this looks like a cartoon. When I look at this, all I can think of is that the developers were lazy, saving time, money, and resources. It feels and looks more like Fortnite than the grounded, gritty style Skate was known for. And what about customization? Barely anything meaningful. Just a placeholder avatar dropped in. And that's it for your face customization. That is lazy to say the least. No matter how many things you change here, and there is not much to change and customize, but in the end, the character always ends up looking the same somehow. And that's about it. My guy looks like a girl in the end. Jesus Christ, man. And this is how you know that there is no proper customization nor effort put into this. Character customization, I don't know, man. 1.5 out of 10. Horrible. Why does my guy look like a girl, man? But let's move on. We go through some tutorials and the game plays and feels very similar to the previous installments, but bear in mind I have not played them in many years.
You shoved it good. Real good.
Whoa! After that, we finally get to the city, which is actually an island, if you ask me, that has a bunch of cut-off bridges. This is the map, and it's something like an island. It is called San Amsterdam, and there is nothing to do here. And I really mean that. There is nothing to do here. I don't get it, man. What else is there to do? This can't be it. Well, I'll get to that point later. But firstly, I went through the initial intro challenges, and after that, you only have more challenges to complete. Yes, you are correct. If you guessed it, there is no story mode. There are no actual missions in here, no cutscenes, and no characters at all. The other people you see on the map are other players, and we are all online. So yeah, the rumors were true. This is a free-to-play, online-only game. Free-to-play sounds really good on paper for all the newbie gamers. But let's be honest, whenever a game is free, it usually means one thing: microtransactions, multiple in-game currencies, seasonal passes, and sure enough, that's exactly what Skate is built around. Of course, they have an in-game currency. That's how they hope to make some money here. And you get items, but you can only buy with in-game currency. That is absolutely horrible. So we get a Vans t-shirt, but I can only buy with in-game currency. Again, I go back to the Fortnite comparison. It feels like they were trying to make Skate something like a Fortnite game where they can have a recurring revenue stream, but due to lack of effort and originality here, I doubt that will be the case. Let's go back again to the challenges that I was talking about, since that is the only thing you can actually do in the game. They give you RIP, which is like a reputation system that you can actually level up. After you level up, you get rewards. And that might sound exciting, but The rewards are just random items like clothing or these icons or maybe some skateboard parts. Also, for completing challenges, you get one of the 3 in-game currencies. Yes, there are 3 of them, believe it or not. These orange ones you earn through challenges, and you can only use them to open up these boxes. I call them lottery boxes, which just give you one random item. Again, probably a clothing piece or something random, and you cannot even choose what you get, but you can see what you could get, and you cannot get duplicates though, right? So you can eventually collect all of them and just move on to another box, I guess. That is it for the orange currency. The purple one that you see here is your actual in-game money, which you can get by actually paying real world money and exchanging it for this in-game currency. And then you can use that for some more items like t-shirts, wheels, and other cosmetics, right? And you see all of that in this store here. You got all this branded stuff in the game and you can only buy it with currency. That is horrible. Finally, the third currency, I'll just call it the blue currency. You get this also through completing challenges, but specific ones. And there is also a task section, so you can complete some tasks over time and you get this currency as a reward. They are kind of more specific, I would say, unlike the challenges related to the orange currency, right? And for the blue currency, you also have another marketplace where you exchange them for, guess what, more random items that nobody cares about. Here, however, you get to choose what you would like, and yeah, you got different levels and different things to choose from. So you can exchange your in-game currency for this one. You can load it up. Honestly, I think that is everything there is to this game. We could probably end it here, but I got some more things to talk about. You do the challenges, you earn these currencies, and you exchange them for items, and you just rinse and repeat, unfortunately. That is what the game is about as of today. On top of everything, you have this stupid, obnoxious robot called V, who is always there and just randomly says things. And yes, again, there are no characters. There are no cutscenes in the game. You only get these stupid voiceovers from the robot or some other characters like AZ, and that's all you get. Very, very low effort, as you can kind of see here. It's just an on-screen overlay and a voiceover that you hear. The character does not appear anywhere. So yeah, that's it. It's just you and these voices and other online players.
There's something about the open spaces at the heart that make it such a special spot. Looks like you know what I'm talking about.
Please shut up. The graphics look very poor in my opinion for a game released in 2025 and updated in 2026. If this was like 10 years ago, maybe it would be considered nice, I guess. But then again, if I go back in time, 10 years ago, we had games like Uncharted, Last of Us, Witcher, which still to this day, they all look better than this game and probably most games out there today. So yeah, not much was put into graphics either, unfortunately. I mean, you just need to look into distance, like here, for example. See, the further you look, the boats, the water is just static. Trees are not moving. Clearly, like there's no wind. You barely see any pedestrians or cars moving, and also it looks kind of washed out. The hills in the background, they just look like an image. It doesn't look like a AAA game made in 2025. Additionally, there is also no skateboarding culture in the game. And what do I mean by that? Well, there are no real-life skaters in the game. And we used to have them in previous skate games. And also in every Tony Hawk game. Speaking again of the culture, the only thing you can mention is probably the clothing. Sadly, yet again. They got some stuff from popular skateboarding brands in here, like Vans, for example. And honestly, I would be surprised if they didn't have these brands in here, because these cosmetic items are the only thing this game seems to be focused on. I should also mention that none of the OG game modes, missions and challenges are in the game either as of today. In my opinion, the game is just boring, and it is a low effort product made to try and get an easy stream of revenue purely off of gamers' nostalgia. Well, are there any positives in the end? Yeah, the actual gameplay mechanics and skating animations feel like they felt before, at least from what I can remember. Again, I remind you, I have not played old skate games in a while, but the gameplay mechanics feel nice. You can have your classic controls, do all of your usual tricks. The grinding is okay, but heavily relies on your timing. Kick and grab tricks feel decent, and and you can even go ballistic and break your bones as much as you want. But that is nothing new. That is the bare minimum, right? This is what all the previous games had. And there is something new, actually. It is this parkour thing that you can do. I don't know what to actually call it, but it is definitely an addition. You can climb onto many things and objects and buildings. And correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but I do not remember this being available in previous installments. So I got bored after like 2 hours into the game, and I had to make the game fun on my own. I mean, that is never a good sign for a video game, but here we are. For the sake of the video, right? I found the tallest building that I could see and decided to climb up on top of it. Let's see if we can get on top of this building. This was actually low-key fun. In the end, there was a challenge on top that I also completed. Then I placed my marker up on top so I can respawn as many times as I want, and I just started jumping off of the building and doing crazy stuff. I had my bit of fun there, but that also gets repetitive and boring after a while, unfortunately. I guess you can make this game a bit fun and exciting, but that will mostly depend on you thinking of things that you could do in the game. But like I said, that is never a good thing, having to think of things you can do inside a game. Unfortunately, the only thing that this game gives you are those boring, repetitive challenges and a big place for you to spend your actual real-life money. Skate isn't unfinished because it's in early access. It's unfinished because there's barely a game here. No story, no real missions, no sense of progression, just repetitive challenges wrapped around a cosmetic store. EA, you failed us yet again. However, I am not surprised, but I am glad that your money-grabbing effort here is already a failure, and I do not see this game recovering anytime soon. All you have to do is go into their Instagram profile or other social media accounts and check the comments on any of their posts. There, you will see how the community feels about this product. In the end, I sleep peacefully at night, knowing that when developers put in hard work and proper effort into a video game, in the end, it works. People buy it and play it. Developers get proper praise and awards for it, and their product lives on to be a classic. On the other end, a low-effort, money-grabbing product like this one is never going to succeed in our industry because we gamers will always call you out on your bullshit and your corporate greed. This is not what a skate game is supposed to be. I will rather buy a used PS3 console or the newest Xbox and play Skate 1, 2, or 3 on it, than play this for free. In the end, this is just my opinion, so who cares? And before I hit publish on this video, there's one more update. Full Circle, the studio behind Skate, just made a nice corporate announcement. What they wanted to say is that they will probably lay off a bunch of people and keep investments into Skate at a minimum. Long story short, the game completely failed and they're cutting their losses and moving on. Yep, that's all for now.